Hello, everyone. Welcome to Snap Take. This is Glacier of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. And before we get to Black Knight, Stature, MODOK, everything you need to know about today's Spotlight Caches, I have three major announcements. Announcement one, we're giving away that $5 bundle. It will start tomorrow, Wednesday, giving away that $5 bundle, the one for the anniversary of Marvel Snap. Make sure you don't miss that. Thing two, our guest on Snap Judgments podcast this week is none other than the lead designer of the game, Glenn Jones. Make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you sub. Make sure you tell everyone so they don't miss that. We've got some real special stuff planned with Glenn. You don't want to miss it. Thing three, I created a little document. That document is calling the giveaway document. All the giveaways I can find to Marvel Snap from everyone who is doing one will be located on that document, and that document's in the description. This way, if you are looking for season passes, if you're looking for gold bundles, if you're looking for anything anyone happens to be giving away, if you like free stuff, there's a document in the description. I'm planning on updating it just about weekly, more when I can, to make sure that you always can enter the giveaways of Marvel Snap. Cool. All right, let's get going with our stuff. But first, please hit that sub button. It's free for you. We give you 2 brand new decks every single weekday. These are proven decks in Marvel Snap that can help you get infinite, help you get your infinity borders, help you win and achieve your goals in the game. Free to you, helps us. We'd appreciate it. Let's get to the card. This is Black Knight. Black Knight comes out at 3 p.m. It is a Series 5 card, 1, 2, 6,000 tokens. Let's do that again. It is 1 cost, 2 power, Series 5, 6,000 tokens. So after you discard a card, add the Ebony Blade to your hand with that card's power once per game. The Ebony Blade is a 4/0. So the first time you discard a card, Ebony Blade becomes a 4, whatever that card's power is. So everyone immediately goes, well, if I discard Infinite, I have a 420 Infinite. That's broken. Then I can Taskmaster that. That's broken. No doubt. That's probably not going to happen most games. However, Black Knight is an extremely versatile, extremely distinct card. It cannot be extremely unique in American English. It can be extremely unique in British English, but unique in American English is cannot be modified with very or extremely. Just English teacher noise. But it is a extremely distinct card. It's a seemingly extremely powerful card. Nothing else does anything like it. We're going to look at a bunch of decks for it and what it can do. But like your downside here is very often going to be, if you can get this out on one, it's going to be a 4/9. It's going to make itself a black cat. A 4/9 is great stats. Darkhawk is very often 4/9, 4/10, and we know how powerful that is. For an actual 4/10, you have to deal with insane downsides like a -10 card from Sentry, -1 for your whole board, etc. This offers other weaknesses in place of that, but it is powerful. Quick look at variants. I know some people decide what they're going to buy based on those variants. So, the variants for Black Knight, we've got this reasonably cool Adia one. Adia's been doing a lot of the spotlights lately. Not a spotlight that comes out today. For that card, we've got a Max Greeky version, which I think is reasonably cool. Greeky's art is up and down for me. It can look a little, I don't know, video gamey stiff for me, but I think this is a reasonably cool one. And we've got the Spotlight, which I know a lot of people are opening extra caches for, which is Night Forged. It's very, very aggressively cool looking in this sort of like realism way that people like. What's his name? That people like a lot of their art in Marvel Snap whenever people do those surveys. All right, there's some other variants though. We've got the Coelho variant, which I think is gorgeous. That is fantastic. That is a spotlight cache on 12/26. We're going to talk a lot more about 12/26 as we go forward, because that's when Black Knight comes back into spotlights. And perhaps for some of you can wait for that if there's certain cards you're looking for. We've also got this Peach Momoko one with that does not in any way have a release date. I might even like this more than the hip. I think it's glorious when this comes out. I plan to get it. And obviously, like, so I'm either getting the peach or the hip, whichever comes first. So I'm not going to buy one of the first 3 at all because I think the next 3 are all like better. And I'm going to wait for the better one for my money. So I'm going to be playing with the base art for the time being. But like, these are the hips. Cool. All right. We got our spotlight caches. We've got Stature and MODOK. We will look at the cards specifically in those decks, but while we're talking about art, I don't have a Stature variant, so if I get this, like, fine, but I don't love this. I just don't. I don't love the perspective. I don't like that she looks sort of confused. It's okay, I guess. I don't know. I hope it's not the Stature I get, but if I open it on my way to Black Knight, I open on my way to Black Knight. Uh, just because I'm opening for Black Knight doesn't mean you have to. I'm a content creator. I can write this kind of stuff off. I have 11 spotlight caches and 50,000 tokens. I get everything. You don't have to, because I do. Please don't take me getting it as an endorsement. I have to get everything so that I can give you proper analysis. I need to be trustworthy for this to have any real value, right? So I have to get the cards so that I can talk about them properly. Why I bought Galactus, and I hated Galactus. All right. We've got another decent MODOK. I don't know. I've got like 1,000 MODOKs. If you bought MODOK as a season pass, you have a MODOK that's pretty good. If you opened other spotlights, I have a baby MODOK from that. I also have the best pixel in the game, Taco Bell Buttfire MODOK. But like, this is a fine MODOK, but like, I don't know if anyone's opening for a hyper specific MODOK when so many have been given out at various points. Synergies for Black Knight. Apocalypse is the big one. It has been confirmed on Twitter by, I want to say, Glenn Jones, our guest on Snap Judgments. Don't forget, make sure you're subbed so you don't miss out. It has been confirmed by Glenn Jones that, like Dracula, if Apocalypse is the card that's discarded for Black Knight's blade to trigger, it will get the return to hand power of Apocalypse, just like Dracula would. We've got Black Hat, which is just going to make a 9. It's going to discard itself. It takes nothing extra. We've got Lady Sif and Ghost Rider. That's a big one. So if you go, for example, Lady Sif on Infinite, you can then Ghost Rider back that Infinite and still play that Shard, and now you have multiple 20 power things. I think Lockjaw might be decent here. Lockjaw is pretty good in discard, and you can basically just drop the damn Black Knight and then go into whatever discard shenanigans you want with a lot of high cost stuff because of Lockjaw. You're discarding cards, hell is good. And this might be weak to Silver Samurai, because Silver Samurai, if you have Black Knight out, can discard the lowest cost thing in your hand, which might mess you up and give you a weak shard. We're going to feature decks, like a lot of decks for these. If you would like a personally built deck, in the description to this video is a link to the Marvel Snap Zone Discord. We hang out in a section called Podcast Chat with the host. Come on down there, and we will happily help you build a. We've got W's Secret Deck. W's Secret Deck was a deck that he used in a tournament against Lambie. There's Team W versus Team Lambie in a Impulse battle. I will be doing one of those battles in November, I believe. But there is this is another version of that. This is W's Secret Deck. It's really, really strong. I basically said, okay, but what if I have Black Knight 2 for the Lady Sif combo, right? And if you don't get the Lady Sif combo or the Blade combo, then Black Knight's not great. But if you get either, then you're just like, if you go Black Knight on 1, Blade on 2, or Black Knight and Blade on 2, you're in really, really great shape, right? Or if you get Black Knight at 1 or 2, and then you have Infinite or Hulk in hand, you Lady Sif on 3, you're in really, really great shape. You can still bring that back with Ghost Rider. You have extra power. This basically works like those double She-Hulk decks where you would like magic pass She-Hulk Hulk without the danger. Because you can just play out your cards, right? Like if Shocker hits She-Hulk or Infinite, right? You can pass 5 and then on 6 just go She-Hulk and Infinite. It's pretty powerful. It's just very, very powerful. There's a lot of things you can do like that with this deck. It's super great. This is 100% where I plan to start. There is a danger. That danger is called Mobius. It makes She-Hulk way worse. I'm aware. So be it. I mean, kind of just so be it. I'm going to risk it because I think Mobius is... The threat of Mobius is greater than how much we're seeing Mobius. Let's see if I'm right or wrong. And worst case, right? Like worst case, Mobius is everywhere. Let's say Mobius is everywhere. My Shocker and She-Hulk aren't as good. I still have my Blade and Lady Sif combos with this deck with Black Knight out, so I still have plenty of high power plays to win games. Next up, we've got Hannah's Hella. I featured this deck 2 days ago, Sunday, on the channel. I decided to update it. It was running a Silver Samurai package. I basically cut Silver Samurai for other cards and added Black Knight and said, okay, so, and added Ghost Rider and Black Knight and said, okay, so instead of worrying about trying to discard my lowest cost thing, which was at that point White Tiger, I kept Jubilee, I can just run a regular Lockjaw package and get an extra powerful card with Black Knight. Black Knight is basically hella insurance. You're not trying to discard 10 things with hella here. You're trying to discard one or two very specific things, and then you can play that blade, and then you can drop Ghost Rider, and you can still win games of Snap, and then you can even close with a hella and itself. Excuse me. Next up, we've got a standard discard. This deck is going to be more dangerous, largely because of Silver Samurai, but hey, you don't have to play Silver Samurai when Black Knight is out or when Decken is out, right? You can just play a regular game. There are games, however, where you're going to see Lady Sif with Dracula in hand and Black Knight out. Or you're going to have discarded Apocalypse in some other way, and then you can play Black Knight on top of Black Knight on top of Blade, and then like Apocalypse will always be in that right spot. Once you've discarded it once, and Blade will discard it again, and then you'll get the super high power shard. Do it, enjoy, right? Like there's a lot of powerful things like that you can do. You don't have to play Black Knight on one. You can drop your other stuff first, and then you can drop Black Knight later. Try and make sure that you're going to get the most powerful thing possible when you discard it. And sometimes Black Knight's just a 1/2. You very often played Nebula. You'll see a version of this deck later in this video that runs Nebula. Black Knight can fundamentally just replace that and have extremely high upside. Nothing wrong with that. Everything else is standard discard here, right? I really, really, really like Dakin in these builds with Silver Samurai. If you don't have them, again, there's a version that we'll look at later this video that doesn't have any of the fancy expensive cards and is just regular MODOK discard. Next up, we have this deck. I was just trying to think through what I could do with Black Knight, and I was like, what, can I try a Darkhawk? I don't love this build. I feel like this might be trying to do too much. So there's a version of this that kind of cuts the Darkhawk package next. But this version says I can play my standard Darkhawk stuff, just get a nice powerful Darkhawk, or I can go the Black Knight route. And if I go the Black Knight route, I have Blade to sort of get rid of stuff. I have Black Hat to sort of be gotten rid of, and then I can end the game with Dracula on America or Giganto and just have a lot of power, right? I don't know. I feel like if I can get a Dracula, Ghost Rider, Black Knight thing going, I'm gonna have like a lot of power across the board, and that might be able to win some games of Snap. And then like my backup plan is just Darkhawk and them drawing rocks and stuff. The version of it that doesn't bother with Darkhawk is this. It says Rogue to get rid of the opponent's Mobius because Zabu seems important here. I'm not sure if Vision is right or if I want another 4 here. Could easily be another 4. I like the 8 power on Vision, but that could be any number of other 4-cost cards. Could be something like White Queen, right? Infinite is meant to sort of get stuck in your hand here unless you Lady Sif it, because you're either going to Dracula that, or you're either going to Dracula that card, Blade that card, or get like it Black Knighted back, right? Like you just have plenty of ways to like use that power, use that card. I think it's very cool and very powerful. This is the second thing I plan to try with the card. We've got Miracle Blade. There was this weird Sarah Miracle list that was trying to like sort of empty its hand outside of Dracula to end the game. I feel like this probably fits that. It has to run Rogue now and Mobius, but like it should be able to reasonably well empty its hand of everything but Magneto or Infinite. And at that point, like you just got a lot of power, right? Like if you're dropping a 2-cost because you've got Zebu and Sarah out, a 2-cost, you've discarded Infinite with Lady Sif, for example, 2-cost 20 power thing on the last turn of the game, your opponent's in a lot of trouble, right? And like you can Ghost Rider for 2 in another spot. And if as long as you had priority, Alioth's not going to stop the card it brought back. And then like you can drop whatever, you can drop Dracula in a 3rd spot, or like what, you know what I mean? Like there's just a lot of power and a lot of flexibility to this deck, and I think this is probably going to be really good. I'm not sure if Magneto should just be America for consistency of draw, but either way, this seems really, really strong. Oh, this deck was D-Money's. D-Money is also coming on the pod. Again, make sure you sub. You don't want to miss these. D-Money and Z are coming on the pod together in November. So, yeah, make sure you check that out. This is our standard dump deck, the type built by our friend Safety. Safety originated sort of the Dracula dump, where like at the end of the game, the idea was to just have Red Skull or Infinite left in hand, and then have some ones for decent power, and then go over the top with those last cards. I think Black Knight's a natural fit there. This is the third one I'm gonna draw. I'm not sure if Elsa's right here, or if Elsa should just be something like Mobius, or if I just want another one. But I feel like if I can just like, because I have Nightcrawler, because Squirrel Girl fills a bunch of locations, making like Blade a 6, Nightcrawler a 5, powerful, right? Making Khazar a 7. I'm perfectly happy for Black Knight to discard Black Cat here, and just go from there. Actually, Elsa should probably be a Zabu, which makes me a little sad. I don't want to put Zabu in all these, but all these cards, Dracula, Black Cat, and Ghost Rider, all have synergy with Black Knight, while Khazar has synergy with the other ones, right? This could run Blue Marvel, but you don't want Blue Marvel to get stuck in hand when you have to dump other cards. So Blue Marvel is missing from this version, but there's a lot to like here, right? You can get a 14 power shard, which is a lot. So this is definitely worth trying. Actually, don't have this blade. I was going for the hit blade and I clicked the wrong one. I have all these other variants. I always show my own variants in these videos. So these are all my variants, except for that blade, I clicked the wrong one. Does Black Knight look good? He's at least different. He's really, really weak to Shadow King. The shard will go back down to 0 when it's Shadow King. You have to decide if you can wait till December. Do you need the new hotness, or can you wait till December? He's with Selene and Deathstrike then, and Deathstrike is getting better and better, assuming you missed Deathstrike. And Selene is a 1/1, a 1 -1 that gives the lowest cost card in both you and your opponent's hand, -3. Seems like it's probably really strong. So, like, if you can wait, that's 3 Series 5 cards, which is really high value. If you have MODOK and Stature. MODOK is sort of must have, Stature isn't. MODOK is like a necessity to the best standard discard list. So if you want to play those, you need MODOK, and at that point you might as well open for Black Knight because they have some overlap. Stature less so. Um, I like him more than most. I think he's probably must have, but I'm willing to be wrong. I think you wait, and I don't know how long you wait. Let's get through the rest of the video, and I will give you full advice by the end, I promise. Our first spotlight card is Stature. Stature is Series 4, 3,000 tokens, 5/6, but on reveal only costs 1 if your opponent discards a card from their hand, has discarded a card from their hand this game, which was an unbelievably great card forever. It started as a 5/7, got nerfed. Unbelievably great card forever. Depends how much Mobius you're seeing, though, right? Mobius sort of wrecked the face off this card. It can't be reduced. It's a 5/6, which is a terrible rate. Stature went from one of the best cards in the game to just sort of there. This is the base stature list. A version of this has been in the meta forever. It was 4 cards different when Safety made the first version. But basically, what it wants to do here is it says, I will get a lot of power on the cheap. If you can get Stature to cost 1 here, it's great. If you can rogue their Mobius, it's great. If you can't, then this is going to be harder to use. So you make yourself a big Darkhawk, you make yourself a big Captain Marvel, you Ironlad sort of anything but Stature in the deck for a lot of power. If you get a Zabu, it's great. If you get the Captain Marvel, you now have a 4/6 Captain Marvel. If it puts rocks in the deck, your Darkhawk is great, etc., etc., etc. This is probably still, to this very day, the very best home of Stature versions of this deck. Some of them run Doom, some of them run America, whatever. A version of this is I really, really do like this version though, because you can go something like Korg into Elsa into Zabu into like a Captain Marvel or into Jeff and something else, and like you just start just piling up power because of Elsa. Also, if you can get that 3 on Darkhawk, which is harder in this deck, but not impossible, it's a lot. I don't know what this is. I think this is cool. I was talking with Scuba about this earlier. Um, I don't know. I love Dakin is really the problem here, right? Like I think Dakin's one of the coolest cards in the game, and I can't help it. But this deck is just sort of saying, okay, so I'm gonna have an 8-power Dakin, I'm gonna have a 7-power Black Bolt, a really cheap 6-power Stature. I can kill all the stuff you want. I'm gonna always have a ton of energy. My stuff's just gonna get slightly bigger. I want to forge Dakin if at all possible. I've got the 6-power Hood. I can kill your stuff with Killmonger. Like there's just a lot of like little ways to do powerful things in this deck. Psylocke lets you get that Death Strike out early because Death Strike is really way better on 4 than on 5, and you just sort of go to town. I don't think this is very good. It's got a good win rate, but like this is one of the things you can do with Stature. I think this is cool though. This is like a bunch of my favorite cards. I love X-23. I love Psylocke. I love Dakin. I love Shang. I love Silver Samurai, and I love Black Bolt Stature. And Death Strike is like a pet project. So like I like a lot of this deck. I don't think it's good, but if any of you have success with it, let me know. Or if you fail with it, let me know. Stature goes in some versions of Hela because Hela can run Moon Knight and Silver Samurai. Basically, what this deck is. So you discard some of their stuff. You get a decent sized Wolverine. You get a decent sized Morbius, and then you just bring back some of your stuff. There's nothing insane to bring back here. You're basically bringing back Black Cat and Helicarrier is the goal, and if you can bring back Black Cat and Helicarrier and have a cheap Stature, you win some games. I played a version of this. A lot of my friends played a version of this. I played one with Hasa for a while, and it just sort of didn't go anywhere. So I don't know. I'm sort of off this deck, but like it's possible that like the rework to Blade and so on really may pick this right back up. Our second spotlight card is MODOK. I think MODOK is much better than Stature right now, which is wild because forever Stature was like one of the best cards, and MODOK was sort of mid. Spider Ham was nerfed out of MODOK's way, and after Spider Ham was nerfed right out of MODOK's way, then Stature got Mobius out of the meta. So 5/8 Series 4, 3,000 tokens is a former Season Pass card. Hopefully you buy Season Passes. Season Pass cards literally like always end up meta sooner or later. They're just worth owning, and then you don't have to worry about opening them, worry about like trying to find them, worry about the cost. $10 is cheaper than basically every Season Series 5 card, Series 4 card in the game. On reveal, discard your hand, which has amazing synergies with a million different cards, with Hela, with Apocalypse, with other stuff, with Dakin, and so on. So we love MODOK here. This is our standard discard. The Silver Samurai version that we talked about earlier. This one doesn't bother with the Black Knight. It just says, I'm going to play a really great discard game. Swarm is dangerous. There's nothing for it. You could totally cut Swarm if you want for this deck. It's nice for Colleen and Samurai, but it's not at all necessary. Samurai can be rough here with both Morbius and Dracula, so you have to like just leave him in hand and MODOK him away sometimes. This deck is crazy strong though. This maintains a high 50% win rate. If you like, whenever people can't hit infinite, one of the things I tell them is like, do you have MODOK? If you have MODOK, you don't actually need Samurai and Dakin for this. You can replace them with, I don't know, Storm and Absorbing Man, or Storm and Juggernaut, or whatever nonsense, right? And be perfectly fine here. So like, don't fret about having, you know what I mean? Don't fret about not having the Series 5 as long as you have MODOK. This is one of the more powerful decks, one of the more powerful things you can do. I decided, by the way, to throw a little baby motif in here with Morbius along with MODOK and America babies, and then they go nicely, and Wolverine. They go nicely with my like 3 hips. 2 hips. Oh, no, 3 hips. 2 hips is too few. But Blade, Sif, and Dakin. All right. This is a discard list that says, hey, I don't have Silver Samurai. I wanted to keep Dakin in it because I think one of my favorite things to do is go Absorb Man Dakin. I just think it's extremely strong. I would probably at this point cut Swarm for Forge, because then you can go Forge, Dakin, Absorbing Man into MODOK, and it's just crazy strong. Or you can go Forge, Dakin, Absorbing Man, Dracula, and then last turn MODOK, Dracula is going to discard that Apocalypse for a bajillion power, and then you're going to have a 16 power Dakin. Or, sorry, 16 plus, so 22 power Dakin, or whatever nonsense Dakin gets to in that instance. So, I don't know, that seems like it's probably pretty damn good. Nebula could be gaining power that whole time, so on and so forth. Drop a Wolverine in there. So, I don't know. I like this deck a lot. I think it's really cool, really powerful, and really easy. Again, I decided, why not go with the babies? I even threw in the GB Absorbing Man here. But cool deck, powerful deck. Again, like, please if you don't have MODOK, he's worth the tokens, if not necessarily the spotlights. But if you also get Black Knight out of it, hey, we know the value here. Next up, we've got a nice Hella Tribunal. This is a classic standard deck. You don't need Howard by any means here. Howard is good. Howard could be Echo. Howard could be, I don't know, anything. Could be Crystal, and you're totally fine here. Basically, you go Invisible Woman, and then you play Magic somewhere else, or you play Electro, whatever, and then you go MODOK into Hella. You have an extra turn to see that MODOK into Hella, and Iron Lad and Jubilee give you an extra shot at either MODOK or Hella. Deck is crazy strong. It's a little weak to Alioth, so be careful of Alioth. Alioth can blow your stuff up behind Invisible Woman. But if you don't see Alioth and they don't have like Cosmo and you get your combo off, you almost always win. It's crazy how much power this drops out. Iron Man, Onslaught, Living Tribunal are nutso combo. You also have the backup plan, by the way, of just going Invisible Woman, Iron Man, Onslaught, Tribunal, which also just wins the damn game. Right? Like it's just like 22 power in every lane plus whatever the hell else you played. So really, really fun deck. I believe our friend Fathor Newman just hit Infinite with it. So make sure you check out his video on that, because if it's not out by now, I'm sure it's coming. All right. So if you need MODOK, I think you open for both Black Knight and MODOK. If you need Stature, she's kind of out of the meta right now. I'd probably skip on her. I feel like I'm going to regret that, but that's my honest answer. If you can wait till the end of the week, do so for more information. If you can wait till the end of December, definitely do so, because that's 3 Series 5 cards, and that's almost certainly better value than a Series 5 and 2 Series 4, if you're just trying to maximize yours. However, I think Black Knight's going to be great, and if you're patient, I'm reasonably convinced that this is going to end up a card that is extremely powerful. That's my personal gut opinion. You have my reasonable advice, and you have my gut advice. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow for another Snap Take. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to sub. We got a giveaway coming tomorrow, and we got Glenn Jones podcast coming on Thursday. Peace.